guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over a story titled, My Wife Wants Me to Forgive Her for Her Midlife Affair. And guys, this is all about a guy who is 43 years old and his wife is 42. He's married her for 10 years. They have an 8-year-old daughter together. And he's going to share his story how pretty much out of nowhere, his wife texts him, sends him a text that she wants a divorce. And this is after a few years of her being pretty much a giant pain in the ass to live with, always complaining that he doesn't make enough money, that he's not ambitious enough, all these types of things. Even though this guy is an anesthesiologist, obviously makes a good living, they're upper middle class, nice house, vacations, luxury cars, doesn't matter, it's not enough for her. And by the way, she works part-time because he makes all the money, but anyhow, she's leaving him. And he strongly suspects something's going on. It isn't just her parting ways. But you're going to see here that she actually got herself a lover. And then decides to put him through the divorce from hell. But ultimately, you're going to see things don't work out too well with her Chatter Tyrone lover, who makes a lot more money than her husband, by the way. And then she comes begging back for a second chance. So it's a good one here. And there's a lot of lessons in here, guys. One of them is, in no particular order, about how the gals will definitely always be on the lookout for somebody that makes more money, that can provide them with a better lifestyle, even with they're with a guy for a long time. Does this mean that every gal is going to do that? No, but a lot do. It's also going to demonstrate how delusional so many women are nowadays about their so-called value, right? In this story, she's 42. 42. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen plenty of good-looking 42-year-old women in their 40s that work very hard to take care of themselves in the gym, with their diet and all that, the hair, the nails, the body, the clothes, and they look darn good. But believe me, they're far from their prime. So you always say, what do you bring to the table in this situation? And also about how they always come back if things don't work out and assume that nice guy sucker is going to take them back, even if they treat him horribly, which you're going to see here. And, of course, about guys that are too nice, too compliant, and how by acting that way, it only encourages their wives to take advantage of them and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go through this, a lot of good lessons here in this story. He starts, my wife and I have been separated for 3 months. We have been celebrating our 12th anniversary in May. We have an 8-year-old daughter. The first 9 years of our marriage was good. For some necessary background information, I am an anesthesiologist and have worked for the same hospital for 10 years. My wife works part-time as a leasing consultant. I am much more introverted than my wife, but it worked well for our marriage. Well, obviously she's very extroverted given her extracurricular activities with her lover. He says, then on year 10, my wife turned into somebody I couldn't recognize. I used to love coming home after a long day of stress, but I found myself more and more sitting in the hospital parking lot after work, doing anything and nothing instead of driving back home. Well, that sounds like most guys being married after a while, where they stop at the bar and everything because they need a break before they get home and dealing with Attila the wife. He says, my wife would criticize everything, make cruel comments. She called me boring, said my expressions were annoying. She hated everything about me. She hated my risk adversiveness, hated that I wouldn't quit my stable job at a hospital and become self-employed anesthesiologist instead. Hated everything about you, cruel comments. Here's a question. Why is this guy putting up with this? Why isn't this guy standing up for himself? I'll tell you why. 2 words. Nice guy. Nice guys don't stand up for themselves. Nice guys are passive and let themselves be walked over. And what has the history of the world shown about people or countries or whatever that are passive and let aggressors bully them? That only invites more bullying. But that's what nice guys do. They're not confrontational. They'll stand up for themselves. No one in their right mind would let this shit slide. And is any wonder she treats him like this? I'm not saying it's cool, and she's obviously the a-hole, but this guy is not helping his case by being Mr. Nice Guy. She told me I never wanted anything better for myself, and that she couldn't stand that I was satisfied with an upper middle class life that was just slightly better off than what an average family had. Slightly bigger house, slightly better house, maybe a splurge on vacations, but other than that, a very average life. Typical gal, more, and more. Nothing wrong with a upper middle class lifestyle, but obviously for her, she wanted more things. What's she doing to get that? Huh? What's so special about her? Huh? This guy's making, last time I checked, anesthesiologists make a darn good living, no matter where you are. But that isn't good enough for her? And what does she bring to the table? What does she think she deserves more? These are important questions to ask. He says, I admit that I would make much more if I was self-employed, but the money I was making was enough, even in light of medical school debt and getting a house in a good school district, 2 nice luxury vehicles. Being in business for yourself is not for everyone. A lot of people will take making a comfortable living working for somebody else versus being in business for themselves. There's a lot of uncertainty there, and believe me, most people do not have it in them to be business owners. Nevertheless, I try my best to make my wife happy. And here's where the problem lies. When she wanted to go on vacation, I immediately would agree. Take time off work and book an impromptu trip where we stay in very nice places. I'd also surprise her with gifts. So with all this bad behavior she's showing to you, you're rewarding her with all these things? No wonder she treats you like shit. You don't reward bad behavior, guys. You stand up for yourself. And if it goes too far, you start planning a plan of action to walk, or let her think that you can walk. Better put up with it. Better than put up with this bullshit. But I'm willing to bet you, because he has a daughter, he thinks I got to endure this stuff for the daughter, which is certainly noble. But guess what? You keep putting up with stuff, people will keep taking advantage of you. He says, yet still our relationship deteriorated. She would have sudden bursts of affection where she would tell me she knows I am a wonderful husband and there's nothing to complain about in her life, but she felt like there was also nothing more to look forward to. I encouraged her to go get therapy or even a life coach if it helped. Well, she needs a whole lot of therapy. Unfortunately, she starts getting sausage therapy, and, well, you'll see what happens. Then came a period of 2 months where things weren't back to affectionate, but the criticism and anger stopped. Then I got a text at work in the middle of the day where she told me that she was leaving me because she'd fallen out of love with me and begged me just to think about co-parenting because it was over. 10 years of marriage and he gets a text from her saying it's over? That's real thoughtful and loving. Remember, guys, when the gals break up with you, by and large, they always have a backup plan in place. Translation, there's always another dude to take the place of you. So this guy's not dumb enough to think that it wasn't the situation. You'll see this is proven right. He says, I was shell-shocked, especially the fact that she was the one moving out and she had left our daughter and didn't seem to care. I started to piece together her behavior and hired a PI. She told me she would be subletting an apartment from her friend, but it was soon clear that she was really living at another place most of the time. Aha, there you go. And that's when I discovered that she'd been having an affair with a man that she'd been having an affair with, who was an acquaintance of mine, whose family members were very close with some of my other friends. Oh, real nice guy. An acquaintance of yours is hooking up with your wife. But given her behavior, hey, he can have her. I started asking around, and the facts started to drop from others. My wife kept insisting that she wasn't having an affair. This guy has proof of this, and she's just lying through her teeth. She had served me for a divorce a week and a half later. I was devastated. My wife would use her sublet apartment for visitation with our daughter and kept lying to my face about the other man. I don't know, given the way she's been treating him, I'd be doing cartwheels at this point. Like, all right, no problem. Have a nice life. But I knew, and it all started to make too much sense. The other man was never married, 46-year-old businessman with 4 businesses, all making over 7 figures. He was on several real estate boards and was known to be charming, but had a reputation of having quiet 2 to 4 year romantic relationships that amicably but inevitably would come to an abrupt end. So this guy is very wealthy, and that's where she's getting all this crap like, why don't you make more money? Or why don't you do this so I can have a better living? Blah, blah, blah. I lawyered up and responded to the divorce complaint. My wife started fighting rather aggressively for custody, and things were starting to get rather ugly. However, one weekend as I was dropping off our daughter, my wife told me to come inside. She told you to come inside? Sounds like you're still being obedient. She admitted to the affair and that it was emotional on the first year and then physical for the next 2 years. 3-year-long affair. What a great wife. And remember in the beginning I said the first 9 years were great. That's what he thought. That's what a lot of guys think. And they're shocked when these types of things happen. She said that there was a period of midlife insanity for her and she feels really bad because I was 90% above reproach as a husband and as a person and wants to come back. No way, Jose. You ain't coming back. Feels really bad my ass. After how she treated him all those years, how he described how she was treating him, insulting him, claiming she hated him for this and hated him for that. And all of a sudden, what could be going on that all of a sudden she wants to come back? Let's put two and two together. Maybe Mr. Chad and Tyrone, who owns 4 businesses and a multimillionaire, maybe got bored with her. Remember the whole delusional thing? Oh, I'm worth everything. She's 42, for God's sakes. And now she's coming crying back. And why? Because her perception of her husband, and let's be honest, is pretty accurate, is he's a nice guy. And I can walk all over him. I can do all these things. And he'll take me back. That's the problem with nice guys. She told me that she and the other man were over. And I found out through some needling that her affair partner said he did not want children ever and was not ready to commit. And he just wanted a clean break. Well, that's how Chad and Tyrone operate. Now, this guy is not your average Chad or Tyrone. They're usually broke and living with their mama or living in a trailer, depending on where you live. But this guy's a successful guy, but he's obviously still a Chad. Bad boy type, and he had his fun with her, and done. My wife said she would get counseling and said she wanted to see if she could withdraw the divorce case. I told her how much he hurt me and I need to think about it. Bro, what the hell is there to think about? You want to invite this back into your life? And I'm sure he's thinking because of the daughter and all that, but seriously, you think that she's not going to be any different? You don't think after 3 years of cheating with some dude sticking a sausage in your wife that she's not going to do it again and respect you less after all that? Have some self-respect. Even if you get hammered in the divorce, you'll survive, you'll move on, and you won't be disrespected anymore. But she'll treat you even worse. This is what these guys don't understand. They're like, I'm just going to endure it for my daughter or the kids or whatever. Well, the kids are going to see you in a miserable marriage, and those kids will be in the same thing one day themselves. And believe me, I've observed this in my own personal life. People I've known. What do I do? Smack. What do you mean, what do you do? I just don't trust my wife and don't know whether she's trying to get the case dissolved because for a plaintiff and previously the primary caregiver of our child, she was doing rather badly in court. Well, that too. Trust your gut. And your gut tells you it's wrong, then it's wrong. And his gut's telling him, I don't trust her. You want to be in a marriage with someone you don't trust? It's never going to work. I do not know if I should give her a chance because of this midlife insanity or if the case where the divorce case is over. I should just file as a plaintiff and see the divorce through. There you go, see it through. In my grief, I've allowed my feelings towards my wife to turn into cold apathy, and now this is basically reopening a bunch of wounds. I don't know how to determine if it would be worth it. I know that if I file and if our daughter asks one day, I'll have to say that I was the one who ultimately said the marriage was worth giving up on. No, you can tell your daughter that it was her mother that screwed up. You can be blunt with her. Look, your mom was having an affair. She was effing some dude for 3 years and ended the marriage and walked away without a care in the world towards you. That's what you can say. And if she doesn't want to hear it, doesn't believe it, hey, you did your part. But being the heroic white knight to stay strong and endure all this misery for your daughter, not good. So we got a few comments here that I always love to enjoy. I enjoy reading to back up my opinion. One guy says the marriage was over as soon as his wife started her 3-year affair. What the OP should refuse to do is set himself on fire to keep someone who treated him with cruelty warm. It wasn't just that she had an affair, it was that she treated him like a subhuman while screwing around his back so much he didn't want to come home. And it's not a midlife crisis. She didn't suddenly lose her senses. Midlife crises themselves aren't excuses for terrible behavior. She made a series of conscious and deliberate decisions to betray her marriage, and they got even nastier with the divorce. If her AP wanted her, she'd still be fighting the OP in court. You're darn right about that. If that guy still wanted her, and she's the bonehead who thought that, oh, he'd be different with me. Again, this guy had a reputation for short-term relationships, and then whoosh, gone. She thought she'd be different because she's so special at 42 years old. Again, back to the whole delusional stuff. Another guy says, the relationship is and was worth giving up on. She sounds impossibly self-interested and acted that out to your great emotional damage. She didn't just F up and sleep with someone. She chose to bail on your marriage and only comes back when it failed with a new jack. Good luck, man. This shit is brutal, but you're better off without her, and your daughter will understand. The daughter will understand one day, and if she hates her mom, hey, the mom has it coming. But the mom's a piece of garbage. Yes, for the 3 years, that she was cheating on him and how cruel she was to him, as you heard in the beginning of this story. And, of course, now how she was making it difficult for him in the divorce. I guarantee you she's making it out to be the bad guy here. And one more guy says, just to set the record straight, you are practicing attending anesthesiologist. On your income alone, you are heads and tails and income and lifestyle above the vast majority of not only Americans, but the entire world. Yeah, anesthesiologists, the last time I checked, make a damn good living. Any anesthesiologists out there watching this? Let's hear what y'all make. Your wife needs a reality check. She's married to a physician and wanted the lifestyle of an oil tycoon. The money is good, but not that good. She needs to chill out on her expectations. You should not take her back. She's the definition of a gold digger and a user. Correct. Do not take her back or your life will be even worse. I addressed this before, but I can't stress it enough. But again, I mentioned at the beginning of the video. The old monkey branching, if you will, I'm going to get somebody else, make more. You can have a gal, she's with a guy, and all of a sudden a rich celebrity drove by in a Ferrari and gave her a phone number. She'll definitely take it. Who knows if she'd jump in the car right then and there, but she'll consider it. And also how they will always come back. Things don't work out, they'll always come back to that nice guy because they think that nice guy will just take them back. And guys, this shows you how being Mr. Nice Guy, not confrontational, not standing up for yourself, how you're treated. Guys, I don't care who it is. If somebody's mistreating you, taking advantage of you, guys stand up for yourself. Because if you don't, the mistreatment will continue on. Because the more you take it, the more that person will lose respect for you. But this is the problem that so many guys just don't get. They think they got to put her on the pedestal and appease her. Oh, she'll love me more if I do this. And then they'll keep doing all these gestures, nice things, even though she's treating them like crap. And it makes the girl lose even more respect. And so on and so forth. Just like kids, women respond to strength. And if you don't respect yourself and don't stand up for yourself through the inevitable tests that will come your way, things will get worse and worse and worse. If, again, for you guys to do dating relationships. For the rest of you guys that don't do this, then hey, this just reinforces why you have the lifestyles that you do. But anyway, guys, that'd be a good one here. It's always good to hear these stories when the gal does these things to these guys, and yet, in the end, they come begging back for a second chance. Now, I would have loved to end this story with the guy saying, pretty much, F you. You go sleep on the streets and you're homeless, but that's not how it ended. But this guy's asking for help. So hopefully this story will help some guys out there, maybe in a bad marriage, a bad situation, learn from this and make a better choice. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, if you got a great story you'd like to share, a personal story, or a story you found online, or a great article about, related to what I do in this channel, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And give me some time and I'll get to it because I got a lot on my plate already. Lots of emails coming in for stories and all. And also, guys, if you are on social media, Instagram or locals, check me out, Strong Successful Male, making a big push this year. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.